footage has just emerged showing what is thought to be a meteor falling from the sky in Russia's Siberia. As you can see, this dash cam caught what appears to be a meteorite lighting up the sky. Rescue services say that they've received more than 400 phone calls from eyewitnesses. And this next video shows light flashes above a residential area. The Emergencies Ministry says that there's been no significant damage to infrastructure. Here's what the author of that video told us.
When I walked off the hospital that you can see in the dashcam footage, I walked towards the car and saw the sky light up. It was very bright. I saw a fireball. About 30 seconds later I heard a loud explosion.
Okay, let's get more on this story now. RT's Miguel Francis Santiago joins me in the studio. And the first question I'd like to ask you, apart from what happened, was I'm quite curious. Meteor or meteorite? What are we dealing with here?
Well, actually, see, a meteorite is something that falls from the space and touches the Earth, while a meteor is the one that breaks up in the sky without really causing any significant touchdown.
There you go, there's an important distinction.
Yep, learn something new every day, huh? Well, but this one, you know, they keep on falling, Neil. This is the third one since 2013. So the Chelyabinsk, we had a major one that shattered windows and people had to duck for cover underneath their office tables. You know, that explosion burned up at an altitude of 30 to 50 kilometers. Its fragments crashing onto the Earth over a large territory in the Chelyabinsk area, with the more heavy pieces landing around the Lake Chebarkur, which is 78 kilometers west of Chelyabinsk, and the largest piece weighing half a ton. So you can imagine how some of these people at this latest one in eastern Siberia were really fearing for their lives.
That's it, isn't it? Because they're just worried about the impact. If it hits the ground, there is a serious danger.
Oh yeah. You know, and eastern Siberia, of course, Siberian population, 40 million people. That's 27% of the Russian population. A lot of people in the Caucasia region who saw this thing light up the sky in an instant were quite worried. Of course, the people living near the city of Sayanorsk, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, were really worried because of several hydropower plants located in the area, and over 420 calls were placed into the emergency services and logged with people really worrying. Let's listen to some of them.
I saw a big light. It was almost as bright as day. I was there with my child and my parents. My child was very scared. We thought it was a bomb or something. It was very confusing. It didn't cross our minds that it could have been just a meteorite. It was huge. We could see it from very far away. My friends started calling me to ask if I had also seen it.
And as we, I just wanted to say that people who remember the Chelyabinsk meteorite, these people think, oh, it's beautiful. Look at that; it's lighting up the sky. That one was quite damaging. But I mean, it's one of our most popular videos, I think, on our YouTube account at RT. Huge interest in these things because they're so rare.
Cosmic events, you know, the stuff that brings us together, supposedly. Well, hope Godspeed, I should say, that nothing happened in this case. No major damage or casualties or windows shattered.
Okay, so a kind of a scenic event, luckily no damage done. Thanks for bringing us the details then.
President-elect Donald Trump is going to have to deal with some struggling in his own intelligence agencies as the conflict over Russia is beginning to build a rocky start for his administration. Matter of fact, according to the Crusader Journal, President-elect Donald Trump's rejection this weekend of the U.S. intelligence analysis conclusion that Russia intervened in the 2016 election, helping him to win the White House in the latest in a string of conflicts between Trump and the intelligence community. He will command. Most of them involve Russia, which has grown increasingly aggressive, according to what U.S. intelligence agencies have told Congress and the administration of President Barack Obama. Now in Syria and in Ukraine. So they're becoming very aggressive in their analysis. The agencies also reported that Russia has ratcheted up their activities in cyberspace, including meddling, sometimes covertly, in European and U.S. elections. The intelligence agencies have concluded with high confidence, they say, that not only did the Russian counterparts direct the hacking of the Democratic Party's organization leaders' emails, but they did so to undermine the Democratic candidate Hillary Rodham Clinton, not just to shake confidence in the U.S. electoral system, according to U.S. officials. The president-elect's transition team responded by releasing a statement that says, according to Trump, the margin of victory was overwhelming, and that the attack on U.S. intelligence community's work on Iraq, said, aren't these the same people that concluded that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? These are the same people that said Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. The election ended a long time ago. It's one of the biggest electoral college victories in history. It's now time to move on and make America great again. Now, in a statement issued yesterday, California Democrat Adam Schiff, a member of the House Intelligence Committee, called the Russian hacking of the U.S. election spectacularly successful. And one would also have to be willfully blind not to see that these Russian actions were uniformly damaging to Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton, and it was helpful to Donald Trump. I do not believe this was coincidental or unintended. Trump has rejected the intelligence agency's findings, and so he says, I don't believe they interfered. He told Time magazine about Russia in the interview published this week. That became a laughing point, not a talking point. A laughing point. Anytime I do something, they say, oh, Russia interfered. So Trump is in total denial as it relates to whether or not the Russians tried to help him win. He feels that, yeah, they hacked the Democrat National Committee's emails and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. But let me just say something, and John Podesta. But here's the thing. It isn't a fact whether or not Russia hacked it and revealed what they were saying. It's what they were saying. Look what they were doing. Look at the corruption. Look what Debbie Wasserman Schultz were doing. They stacked the deck against Bernie Sanders like you wouldn't believe. First of all, the Democrats have this ridiculous thing called superdelegates. And you have 500 and some of them. You start the election process by 500 superdelegates are for Hillary Clinton and 23 were for Bernie Sanders. It didn't matter what Bernie did. It didn't matter how many votes he got. It didn't matter how many stadiums he filled. He was down 500 to 23 out of the blocks. That's about like being down 30-0 to start a basketball game. So, you know, and then when you read the rest of their emails that got hacked, they all were talking about how they hated Bernie and how they hated his followers and how that he was an idiot. And they called him all kinds of things. Now, look, I know he's a socialist and he needs to everybody should spend a weekend with Bernie in Venezuela to understand that socialism don't work. But the Democrat Party literally crumbled on itself because it was all in, the fix was in for Hillary from day one. They put all their marbles in the Clinton cartel's basket, and now that it's blew up in their face, they don't know where to go. They don't know who to turn to. Who's the face of the party? So what Donald Trump is saying is, you got to quit blaming Russia for everything, guys. You got to start taking accountability for your own self. As it relates to the United States of America, well, according to Trump, it's time to make it great again. Well, I don't know. Let's pray one for another. This country needs to come back together. There's a lot going to go on between Trump and Putin, and it's not all going to be hand-holding time. Believe me, the honeymoon will be over very soon as the battle for who's going to control Ukraine and the flow of oil into the European Union nations is going to be huge. Trust me. I think Trump's going to let Putin he's going to get out of the way, let Putin and Iran have Syria with their little puppet Assad, but in return, Trump wants, I'm sure Trump's going to say to Putin, you got to back out of Ukraine, you got to kind of back away and not threaten the other NATO countries. Let's have peace among each other. Let's see how it plays out. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get uglier. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. This is what the Bible said. There'd be wars and rumors of wars. And certainly, folks, we're living in the last days. it is going to get intense. Believe me, there is military assets of the United States, the Russians, and the Chinese moving around the globe. Everybody's getting in position to protect themselves from one of the others going on the offensive. Let's pray one for another. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to Bible prophecy. Do not miss tonight's live broadcast. BP Earthwatch will be our guest. Again, we have to bring him in because of the revelation and information, this earthquakes, and the second wave of energy from these huge gamma rays that are coming. What happened in 2004? We had a 9.1 earthquake. We had an 8.1 and a 9.1 back to back, and 250,000 people got killed. This wave coming is greater than that. We have to talk about it. We got 15 days left. I'll be back with more in just a moment.
Burning objects raining down from the sky after a meteorite exploded above the Earth, causing a meteor shower.
Now, what we know from officials, according to officials and eyewitnesses, is that a series of explosions, possibly 5 to 6, took place when this meteor exploded in the air, raining down molten hot debris onto the ground. Now, this has caused widespread panic in at least 3 cities. Witnesses reported the walls of houses shaking, the windows being blown out.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Asteroids! And yes, deep impact. It has happened. It has happened. NASA never saw it coming, or at least they didn't give us a heads up here. But we've had a meteor come crashing into the Earth just off the coast of Australia, there in the Coral Sea. It was a tremendous impact, shaking houses along the Coral Sea there. It affected people all along Queensland. They felt it all up and down the coast there. A tremendous impact. Hundreds of people were calling in. They seen the burning fire, the lamp, the light, the bright light, the explosion, if you will. But really, they felt the shaking. A lot of folks called in and felt like it was a major earthquake. And so this was and so here, folks, here we are. I'm telling you. And you guys know I've been sharing it with you. This is just the beginning of sorrows. And we're going to have more of these and more. And they're going to increase. And this is not even the big boys. This isn't the ones that NASA even marks down and tells you we have a near-Earth object going by. We're talking, 10 days ago, China told us there's a killer asteroid out there that's over 1 mile wide coming toward us. Wouldn't give us any dates, any times, didn't say how close it's going to come to the Earth or if it's going to hit the Earth. All I know is the White House made an announcement the day before saying an asteroid is going to hit the Earth. It's inevitable. And we also know that earlier this year, the White House opened what they call the Armageddon office and have to deal with incoming asteroids. As a matter of fact, NASA announced that they're sending up a probe in the year 2021. They're going to head it toward an asteroid that they know about that's way out there. They want this probe to come and pick up a boulder right off the surface of the asteroid and then right alongside the asteroid, hoping that the gravitational pull will barely nudge it a little so that by the time it gets here, it misses. We've been telling you the last few days that the Chinese told us 10 days ago that there was a killer asteroid coming. And they don't know what to do. They told us the name of it even, 2009 ES. They don't tell us when it's coming, where it's at, how close, will it hit us, nothing, okay? NASA acknowledges that that asteroid exists. We've just had a deep impact. Just hit Australia, just off the coast in the Coral Sea. Matter of fact, it literally, there's power outages. Homes were shaken. It registered on the Richter scale. People thought for sure it was a major earthquake. The light flashed, lit up the world, and hundreds of people calling in to the 911, calling into the emergency, calling in everywhere to the media. And we know that Russia's turned their missiles toward the sky. They want to blow the incoming asteroids, which are more and more all the time. This thing wasn't even on the screen. NASA didn't even have this one listed. Okay, guys? Never a straight answer. You have to hear me. We have entered a galactical belt, and there's more and more meteors, asteroids that are on the way. And we're talking some big boys. What do you think the White House last week announced that a deep impact is inevitable? And earlier this year, they opened what they call the Armageddon Office. And NASA is sending up a probe in the year 2021 to go way out there and find this huge asteroid in which they want to grab a boulder off of it and ride along beside it and hope that the gravitational pull will nudge it just a hair so that it doesn't hit us. All right, even though it's 100 years away, it doesn't matter. That's just one.
NASA is no stranger to pulling off the impossible, but this one is truly mind-blowing. They're sending a robotic spacecraft to catch up with a speeding asteroid and then bring pieces of that asteroid back to Earth. The name of the mission is a mouthful, so that's why NASA's going with OSIRIS-REx. The probe's target is an asteroid named Bennu, which is on NASA's watch list of potentially hazardous asteroids, meaning that there's a chance of it colliding with Earth. NASA says that the odds of that happening are about 1 in 2,500, and it wouldn't happen for more than 150 years. It will take 2 years for the OSIRIS-REx to catch up with Bennu. When it does, the probe won't land on the asteroid, but instead, it will study and observe Bennu from above for several months, taking pictures, mapping it, and monitoring its movement. In 2020 is when the real magic happens. That's when OSIRIS-REx will reach out its 11-foot-long robotic arm and make contact with the asteroid. NASA is hoping to collect about 2 ounces of these asteroid samples. By studying the return samples, NASA hopes to gain insight into the role asteroids played in bringing the building blocks of life to Earth.
Meteor ship!
We've got a situation developing that the Bible said would. All right, now get this. This meteor smashes into Australia. People are left terrified. They thought it was the coming apocalypse. What they don't know is it is. It really is. The space rock caused houses to shake, power outages. Locals spotted the meteor, which resulted in a huge flash of light that filled the night sky. The space rocks believed to have crashed off the coast, off the shore of Turkey Beach and Emerald in Queensland, Australia. The Higgins storm chasing, listen to this, people in the area said the impact, the deep impact, caused houses to tremble. Police are confirming they received hundreds of calls in what many thought was initially an earthquake. And so, look, Mike from around the world is going to be with me tomorrow. He's coming on live on our show. And we had him on 2 weeks ago, and he said, Paul, soon you're going to see tremendous auroras from the 5 waves of energy. You're going to see more and more meteors and impacts. You're going to see fire literally raining down from the sky is what's going to happen. We're going to get more and more and more of these meteors, these deep impacts. And you're not going to know they're coming. No. The ones you know about are the ones you're probably not worried about. It's the ones you don't know. NASA either doesn't see them coming or they're just not going to tell us. I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think they can catch up with them all. We've entered into a galactical plane. We've entered into a cosmic storm and the 5 waves of energy. And is it planet X that's shaking the heavens? Because Jesus said it's going to happen. Go with me to Luke 21. Look at this. Look at this. Are you serious? Look at this. Luke 21. Jesus said these words about the end of time. Yes, he said, look, take heed, be not deceived. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. Everybody's going to know it's the end time, but don't go following these false Christ. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. All right? Because nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. All right, now wait a minute. Keep going, same chapter, Luke 21, go to verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea, the waves roaring, and men's hearts failing them for fear. Men's hearts failing them for fear. Now the Lord hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but of love and power and a sound mind. But men's hearts are going to fail them for fear because they don't all have the Lord. And looking, why are they going to have fear? Men's hearts failing them for fear, for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. What else do you need? Okay? This is red letters. And then, here's the good news, then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, lift up your head, for your redemption is drawing nigh. Are you saved? Oh, it's going to get crazy. And I'm telling you, because I'm going to stay all over it. Not just the asteroids, meteorites, earthquakes, and tsunamis, sinkholes, and explosions, wars, and rumors of wars. No. I'm going to stay on top of everything. The collapse of our culture, the sadness that's coming upon the land, Ebola, Zika. These are all the beginning of sorrows. Oh, and those FEMA camps, they left the light on. They left the light on. Are you saved? Jesus is the only way. Call on him.
Of course, there are many dangers that face mankind. From time to time, massive objects will impact on the Earth. Our surveillance of what's around us is not good enough. In Chelyabinsk, on the other side of the planet, crash, something that we never saw impacted on the Earth. We are trying to ramp up the rate of detection of these possible impacting objects 100 times. On June the 30th, we are opening up the petition which we call 100X. It's already been signed by a number of top scientists around the world and astronauts. And we're asking the public to sign this petition, which will go to the governments of the world to try and get them to prioritize this as a project.
10 scary yet beautiful facts about space and us. Number 10. We are so small. Before we can truly grasp the gravity of the threats as well as the beauty that surrounds our planet, we must first realize just how small our planet is. The circumference of Earth at the equator is about 24,874 miles, and from the North Pole to the South Pole it is about 24,860 miles. Within our solar system, we are the fourth largest planet. After us, we are dwarfed by Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, and our own star, which is 93 million miles away from us, the Sun. The Sun is a pretty big star, but it's nowhere near the sizes of other stars that we know about. To name just a few larger stars for perspective, there is Eta Carinae, a star that is over 5 million times larger than our Sun. Betelgeuse, 300 times larger than Eta Carinae. If it were our Sun, it would reach as far out as Jupiter. And then there's UY Scuti, the largest star that we know of. UY Scuti's mass is unknown, but before UY Scuti comes VY Canis Majoris, a star that is 5 billion times the size of our Sun. We are a part of the Milky Way galaxy. There are trillions of stars in our galaxy, and nearly all of them are circled by at least one planet. Within our Milky Way galaxy, we are not the only solar system. So far, astronomers have found more than 500 solar systems and are discovering new ones every year. Scientists estimate that there may be tens of billions of solar systems in our galaxy alone. Traveling out 150,000 light years, you can see just how small even stars like UY Scuti is within our galaxy. It takes our sun 200 million years to complete an orbit of the Milky Way, and 2.5 million light years away is the Andromeda galaxy, estimated to collide with our own galaxy in a few billion years. And using the Hubble Deep Field, or HDF, we can see a very small series of space and observations by the Hubble Space Telescope itself. It shows hundreds of galaxies. 5 billion light-years out is the cosmic web, where billions and billions of galaxies are estimated to reside. And finally, 200 million light-years out is the cosmic microwave background radiation afterglow, is what we believe that started us, the only thing estimated to be left of the Big Bang. That is our universe. What is beyond this? Other universes? Immeasurable heavens? We have discovered less than 0.1% and have found no other life. Are we all alone in this life, or are we in fact not alone? Either thought is terrifying. For now, all we know is that all injustices, political and religious existence theories or truths, all loves, sorrows, hopes and dreams, extinct species like the dinosaurs, and species yet to come, all pasts, presents, futures, thoughts, and actions only exist on our small and insignificant planet alone. This sort of scale, you truly start to think about what truly matters to you, what doesn't matter anymore, and what never did. What do you think? Number 9. Rogue planets. They are the loners of the universe, lost forever in space without a star to orbit. When planets form, they react with each other gravitationally, and it's entirely possible that when our own solar system formed, planets were actually kicked out into interstellar space. There could be as many as 200 billion rogue planets in our galaxy. That's as many rogue planets as there are stars in the sky, and one of them could be heading our way right now as you're watching this video. A collision with another planet sounds unlikely. Could this really happen? As a matter of fact, it already has. 4.5 million years ago, a young planet about the size of Mars collided with Earth over 25,000 miles per hour, 12 times the speed of a bullet. The impact destroyed the smaller planet. Earth survived, but barely. Afterwards, the entire surface of Earth was liquefied. Nothing but rock, lava, and fire was left everywhere. A true vision of absolute hell. The Earth at that time had only an atmosphere of molten rock. Debris that was blasted out 20,000 miles per hour began to orbit the Earth. Gravity began to bring the debris together, and the result was our moon. Number 8. Space debris. Sooner or later, human civilization must confront the very real asteroid and comet collision hazard that exists within space, or we will become extinct. On June 14, 2002, it was just another busy workday, with all of the close calls and near misses that people all over the world have come to accept as the normal level of risk in everyday life. But on that day, behind the sun, what no one saw coming and what no telescope could see behind the blinding light was an asteroid big enough to destroy an entire city. From behind the sun, asteroid 2002 MN came hurtling towards Earth, but it missed less than 1/3 of the distance to Earth that the moon is. Nobody saw it pass either until 3 days later, when it emerged from Earth's shadow into the night sky, going away. Though it is rare, it is very possible. The craters on our moon are evidence of asteroids, comets, and general debris hazards that do exist for us today. Billions of rocky fragments, building blocks of a planet that never quite came together when the solar system was formed, are out there everywhere, ranging in sizes from rocks to pebbles to boulders, and some the size of Mount Everest. The reason as to why we haven't had any truly devastating catastrophes with asteroids within the past few million years is mostly because of Jupiter. Occasionally, Jupiter's enormous gravity draws an asteroid off course, causing it to crash into another asteroid and be destroyed, or to veer away into new orbits. It was no secret that a giant rock smashing into Earth was what wiped out the dinosaurs, and that particular rock was estimated to only be 6 miles wide. Number 7. The sounds of space. It's a common misconception that there is no sound in space. Although space is a virtual vacuum, this does not mean that sound does not exist there. Sound does exist as electromagnetic vibrations. Through specially designed instruments such as the NASA Voyager, InGen 1, IC-1, and Hawkeye space probes, we have used plasma wave antennas to record vibrations all within the ranges of human hearing. Now I'm going to show you the sounds of our Sun, as well as all of the planets within our solar system, and I really would like some input on what you guys think, especially about Venus and Saturn. Take a listen. Number 6. The supervoid. In 2004, astronomers discovered an empty section of space within the southern area of the galactic hemisphere where our Milky Way solar system and the Andromeda solar system reside, and that empty space is missing around 10,000 galaxies. Nicknamed the cold spot, this area is 1.8 billion light-years across, and it is the largest known structure ever discovered in the universe, but scientists are baffled about what it is and why it's so barren. It sits in a region of space which is much colder than other parts of the universe, and although it is not a vacuum, it seems to have around 20% less matter than other regions. Although the Big Bang theory allows for areas that are cooler and hotter, the size of the void does not fit with predicted models. Simply put, it is too big to exist. In this constellation, you can see superclusters of galaxies. The dark blue symbolizes areas that are more empty than others and much colder. The supervoid resides in the bottom right. The latest study of the cold spot suggests that it may be draining energy from light traveling through, which is why the area around it is so cold. In late 2007, it was argued by many scientists that this supervoid could be due to a cosmic texture, a remnant of a phase transition, which is known to be transitions between solid, liquid, and gaseous states of matter. The thing is, though, they believe it's a remnant of phase transitions that took place not anytime recently, but from the very earliest stages of the universe. Number 5. The multiverse. When the ancients looked into the night sky, they believed that the heavens revolved around the earth and mankind, but over the centuries this view has changed drastically. We eventually learned about our solar system's existence and our Milky Way galaxy. Later, we discovered that our universe was filled with other such galaxies. But it could be that we're committing the same error as our ancestors by thinking that our universe contains everything that there is. The word multiverse refers to the general idea that our universe might not be unique at all, and there may be other universes out there that defy all of our laws of nature. What is known as the anthropic principle is the idea that our universe is fine-tuned to allow humans to live. A small fiddle with the strength of gravity, for example, and life as we know it would not exist. A coincidence that does not sit easily with scientists. The concept of a multiverse neatly addresses this problem. With the infinite number of universes that could exist, we are simply living in the one that we are only able to, meaning that other universes, depending on their laws of nature and physics, could have very different biological life forms or maybe even paranormal entities. And then there's this theory, which is quite hard to put into words, so I will just keep it short. There are many universes, and everything is the same inside each one, meaning you exist on every single Earth. However, each outcome of your entire life is different, whether you fail school or become top of your class, the jobs you receive, the people you love or lose, and any decision you've ever made or chose not to make would have a different outcome throughout your life. But unfortunately, we are only one human with only one outcome on this planet alone, meaning we could never actually prove this multiverse theory to be true, because no matter what, we are stuck with the outcome that we're going to have on this version of the universe. And the chances of one of those outcomes successfully proving this theory, unfortunately, are very remote. Number 4. A supernova. A supernova is a massive explosion generated by a dying star. A star in our galaxy goes supernova once every 100 years. The explosion hurls matter into space and can shine as brightly as an entire galaxy for short periods. Stars are giant nuclear reactors producing energy by fusing hydrogen into helium. Eventually, however, stars run out of hydrogen to fuse. When this occurs, the star begins to fuse helium into heavier metals such as iron. The star's core shrinks while its outer layers expand, creating a red giant that consumes surrounding planets. But what happens when the sun runs out of helium? Fusion simply ends in small stars like our sun. The star becomes a white dwarf and slowly fades away, but when a large star depletes its helium reserve, the core collapses within seconds, causing temperatures in excess of 1 billion degrees Fahrenheit. The outer layers of the stars collapse as well, only to explode outward in a massive explosion known as a supernova. What's left of the star's core becomes a dense neutron star and forms a black hole, an area of such densely packed matter that not even light escapes its gravitational pull. After a supernova, material expelled in the explosion may form nebulae, which are massive interstellar clouds of gas and dust. Over millions of years, gravity pulls nebulae material together into a dense, hot core called a protostar. Protostars eventually become newborn stars, and the newborn star's gravitational effects surrounding the nebulae material over time may form asteroids, comets, and even new planets. It is truly the circle of solar life. Number 3. The dark flow. The eternal dance of light in the night sky has fascinated humankind for thousands of years, given birth to gods, myths, and finally to science. But now there are hints of strange movements in the heavens. If they can be verified, they will be the first hard evidence that there is an edge to the universe. Sasha Koshlinsky is a NASA astronomer. He claims to have detected a pattern of movements in the heavens so bizarre that it could revolutionize our theory on the universe, just as the Big Bang once did. Sasha wanted to check more precisely how fast and in what direction galaxies are moving to see if there might be any subtle deviations. He used an effect that can only be seen when clusters of galaxies are colliding. The gases around them get heated to millions of degrees. When light from the cosmic microwave background passes through a hot gas, it gets subtly altered. How much it changes depends on exactly how fast the gas and the galaxies it surrounds are moving. Sasha continually and methodically checked this data for over a year, and his data showed something unbelievable. All the galaxy clusters, no matter where they were in the sky, were all veering off to one side of the universe. It was as if they were being pulled towards a mysterious attractor beyond the visible edge of the universe. He called it dark flow. What do you think it is, and where is it pulling us to? Number 2. Supermassive black holes. In nearly every large galaxy, astronomers have found evidence of black holes millions, even billions of times the mass of the Sun. As I spoke about supernovas in number 4, black holes form from what is left of a star's core after it has gone supernova. The collapsed core of a dead star implodes, and its weight is enough to squash all the atoms right down to their nuclei. The result? An ultra-dense ember called a neutron star. The density of a neutron star would be like taking a mountain and crushing it down with so much pressure into the size of a marble. Neutrons can withstand incredible pressures, but if enough matter falls onto them beyond a critical threshold, they can be crushed down to nothing. When that happens, a black hole is born. A black hole is gravity taken to the extreme. Its mass is literally packed into a point and enshrouded within a dark sphere called the event horizon. That sphere is the point of no return. Any gas, stars, planets, or even light that falls in disappears forever. Albert Einstein said that gravity is not just the attractive force of planets or stars like the Sun. It is a warping of space and time, what scientists call space-time, with the presence of massive objects. With the mass of a star squashed down to a deep point, a black hole is basically a deep puncture in space-time. If a future explorer prospecting for data tempted fate by traveling too close to a small black hole, they would be ripped to shreds immediately. However, a supermassive black hole has more spread-out gravity. The ride would be much smoother. What you'd find if you made it inside is the most extreme destination in all of the universe. Number 1. Further speculations and philosophies. So what do we know? Honestly, not much, and won't, not for a long time at least. A time that expands so much farther after yours and my own lifetime. The real question is can we figure out everything there is to know before Earth is destroyed by some random, miraculous, terrifyingly beautiful act of this thing that we call the universe? After watching this video, look up into the night sky and allow yourself to see more than you did before. Do not feel small, insignificant, unimportant, or pointless. Instead, thank your eyes, your brain, and your body, your own silent companion throughout your life, for allowing you consciousness at such an extraordinary time period where you and your fellow man can study these mysteries of existences that are so far away. And whatever you believe in, don't allow this video or others to ever discourage that belief, whether it be gods, science alone, aliens, the paranormal, or nothing. Instead, combine the knowledge we do know of with your own beliefs and theories to see what depths of your own mind you can then explore. We too, as human beings, are made up of the same stuff of galaxies. Maybe we're not supposed to know. Maybe the true meaning of life, while you have it, is to simply give it some meaning.
NASA says that there's a very high chance a strong earthquake will shake LA.